What's up, people? I'm Jeroen Petri, also known as GuitarnScythes, and today I'm going to do a gear tour because many people asked me to do this. So, without further ado, let's go. I'm going to start off with my, not the very first guitar that I've ever owned, but the second guitar that I've owned, which is this one right here. It's a classical guitar. It's called an Estève. And you know, it's a very basic guitar. I got this when I was 9. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a lot of dents and scratches on it. Because when you're 9, you don't really care about stuff. You just want to break it. But it's actually a pretty decent guitar. You know, it does its job. And the first guitar that I've ever owned was eventually sold by my parents because they didn't know if I was going to take guitar seriously. But there you go, that's the second guitar that I've ever owned. Moving on, we're going to talk about this guitar right here. I'm going to do it in kind of an order, I guess. Which is this one right here. It's my Fame Hondo. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to just lay it down for you. It's a Fame Hondo. It's pretty old, and as you can see, there are no strings on it. The hardware is missing. And one humbucker, and that's because eventually the guitar just stopped working. The humbuckers were broken, the electronics were, you know, it wasn't working anymore. So I took the whole guitar apart and tried to fix it, but I suck at electronics and soldering. So yeah, it kind of died off, which is kind of a shame because it is the very first guitar that I've ever owned, an electric guitar, sorry. So I want to restore it because I got this from my uncle. And you know, it's got a lot of memories in it, so once I get enough money together, I might bring it to a guitar shop and say, hey, I want you to fix this guitar. But for now, this is what's left of it. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the second guitar, electric guitar that I've ever owned, which is this one right here. It is a BC Rich Warlock, beat in black bronze. It's you know, it was kind of cheap. It was 158 euros when I bought it. So you know, it's actually a pretty good guitar. I know it looks very striking and metal, like look at me, but it's actually a very good guitar. It's for its money, it's very good. You know, the fretboard is really nice. The pickups are now decent. And it's kind of quite a good tone to it. The only problem is that the headstock is quite heavy. So when you're playing while standing, it's got a lot of neck dive. And as you can see, it's still in pretty mint condition. And overall, it's a pretty good guitar. So there you go. That's my Warlock. I'm gonna put that back. Moving on, we have my bass guitar, which is this one right here. It's an LTD bass guitar. I'm gonna lay it down too. There we go. It's you know, it's very basic. It cost me like 200 euros or something, and I don't play bass a lot. I just use it to beef up my recordings on my computer, stuff that I record, so it sounds, you know, a little better. Not much to tell about it. It's just all basic. It does its job. It's, you know, it has a decent sound. I don't know much about bass guitars, so I'm guessing it's quite decent. There you go. So moving on, we have a DIY do-it-yourself guitar kit from Harley Benton. This is a Telecaster guitar kit, and I bought this just for fun and giggles. I wanted to do something, you know, get my hands dirty, and I gotta tell you, the guitar itself is terrible, but you don't expect a lot when the whole kit costs you, I don't know, 90 euros or something. So you know, again, it's just for fun, and the guitar plays horrible. The intonation is ridiculous. It never stays in tune, and it's not comfortable to play on, but it works, you know. And once again, I did not do the soldering and the electrics. electronics. That was a guitar store just made that for me. So there you go. I'll just film the back here. Very basic. Right. Moving on to let's see. Yeah, let's move on to the most controversial guitar that I've ever owned, but also the most fun guitar. It is the Squier Hello Kitty Strat. It's got one humbucker. You know, it has a very edgy sound to it. It actually plays really nice. I was really surprised by how comfortable and how easy it is to play on this guitar. And the fretboard is really nice, and the tuners, which are standard die-cast tuners from Fender or a Squier, they actually stay in tune pretty good. So one volume knob. So you got, and this is the great thing about it, you got all this room here to move around with your hand when you're strumming. So it's very comfortable to play on. Oh yeah, and not to forget the Hello Kitty writing on the back. And there you go. One of my favorite guitars of all time. Okay, now it's time for my gent guitar. Yes, that means 7 strings. And there you go. LTD, an ESP LTD Stephen Carpenter 607B. It's kind of a long name, but it's the signature guitar from Stephen Carpenter from the Deftones. And this is his cheaper model, the affordable model, the LTD. And it's still pretty nice. You got the EMG pickups, you know, a volume switch and a tone switch and a 3-way selector switch for the pickups. And as you can see, it's a baritone guitar, so the neck is slightly longer, which really helps with when you tune the guitar really low. And as I said, this is my gent guitar, so it's tuned to drop G sharp. And there you go, the Stephen Carpenter signature. And when I say drop G, I know that there's some people watching here that can hear the Icarus Lives tune from Periphery in their head right now. At least I am. As you can see, it's a neck through construction. And the strings going right there. Very nice guitar. So moving on to the guitars that are in cases. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to start off with my Ibanez RG1527. And yes, that's another 7 string. Let me just open it up real quick. And there you go. It's a really nice guitar. This is probably my favorite guitar of all time. Simply because it has everything that I look for in a guitar. It's 7 strings. It's got 2 humbuckers with a 5-way selector switch. So you can actually create some sort of a single coil sound. It's got a floating tremolo, you know, a volume and tone knob, and a 5-way selector switch, as I mentioned. And you have the tremolo arm. It's a really nice guitar. Great to play on. Very comfortable. Great all-rounder. You might have been wondering, well, why did you just buy a Universe? Well, Universe is kind of out of my league. It's way too expensive for me. Maybe one day I'll buy one. But for now, this is the guitar that I play on probably the most, alongside my Hello Kitty and the Charvel SoCal, which I will show you in just a minute. Now over here we have Gibson Les Paul. This is, by the way, not my guitar, just letting you know. I lent this from a friend of mine, Kevin, and he currently has my steel string guitar, which is why that is missing. So I can't do that one right now, sorry. But I think y'all are more interested in a Gibson Les Paul anyway. So let's have a look. There you go. Gibson Les Paul Deluxe. And it's a great guitar. I'm not really a fan of Gibsons because they're very heavy. They have a very short and thick neck. But I have to admit, the sound is amazing. The craftsmanship is amazing, and it's just, you know, it's got a massive appeal. So there you go, it's a great guitar. Right, moving on to my Charvel. Already shown you this in another video, but whatever, just show it again. And there you go, Charvel SoCal in black and white. Maple fretboard, Grover tuners, all black hardware, Floyd Rose tremolo, DiMarzios, 1 volume knob, 3-way selector switch. It's basically a Fender Stratocaster with DiMarzios and a Floyd Rose tremolo, which is exactly what I was looking for. Because I'm a huge fan of Fender Strats, but the only thing that bothers me is, you know, I just need a Floyd Rose tremolo, or just a guitar with no tremolo. And the problem with the Fender is that the knobs for volume and tone are very close to the strings, and this one has a little bit more room, so you can have a little bit more room for your right hand. So that's great. Okay, now I'm going to show you my ESP. This is probably the guitar that I've played live the most, and as you can see, it's the case is pretty worn out. I mean, look at this. Oh yeah, that's terrible. But that's where the case is for. So let me open that up. And there you go. This is my ESP LTD Eclipse 500. And nowadays they call it the 401, I guess. I don't know why, but whatever. And it's a great guitar. It has EMG pickups, EMG 81 in the bridge, and EMG 60 in the neck. You know, you got your toggle switch right there, classic Les Paul style. You got 2 volume knobs and a tone knob. And it's just a great guitar. It's got Grover mini tuners, and it plays excellent. This is kind of why I just mentioned before that I don't really like Gibson Les Paul. Mainly because it's too heavy and the neck is too short and thick. This is basically, you know, it's a lot thinner, it's lighter, and the neck is 24 frets with, it's a lot thinner too. So there you go, ESP Eclipse 500 in see-through black cherry. I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually kind of red. Really cool. Okay, I think that wraps it up for all my guitars. And I'm going to show you right now my drum kit. Yes, I do have a drum kit. I'm just going to move back. Make sure I don't knock anything down. And there you go. It's a very cheap drum kit. It cost me like a total of $300, I guess. And again, I just bought this for fun. You know, it's just something to try out, something to, you know, to get your aggression out. I'm not sure if that's the correct way to say it, but it's you know, it's kind of fun to just play the drums. I can play a little bit, but not much. I'm gonna show you. I might show you a short video of what I can play. Just don't expect too much. Okay, moving on to my amplifiers. This is my Roland Cube 20X. This is a great amplifier. I bought this for 150 euros, which is $200, I guess. And it's got everything I need. It's got clean tone, acoustic, you know, distortion, overdrive, metal, you know, flanger, chorus, delay, everything. So that's a great amplifier. And over here we have my Roland Cube 80X, which is broken, unfortunately. I don't know, I have no idea what's wrong with